Hi, this is Superboo3. Today we're looking at Aaru's Awakening on the PS3 and PS4. This game was originally released on the PC a couple of months back, but is now part of the Instant Game Collection on PSN. The game has a beautiful visual art style. The yellow tones may seem slightly off-putting when you're on the first world, but the different worlds do have different colour schemes, which is a very nice touch. After the initial 2 to 3 gigs download for this game, you have to download a patch which is more than half a gig, which personally I found very off-putting, especially whenever there's a day one patch for any game, and secondly when it's anything that's sizable. Given the various issues that PC games were having with the game, I would have to make the assumption that the patch is vital, so do make sure you do download it before you start playing the game. The game doesn't seem to control very well. Personally, I find that Aaru moves very floaty, and I personally am not a fan of the fact that the jump buttons and the teleport buttons are mapped to the shift buttons on the control pad. Now, there's a reason that they're not mapped to the face buttons, and that's simply because using the face buttons you wouldn't be able to aim everything using the left and right joysticks. This can be bypassed on the PS4 version if you use controller mapping of the buttons to change things around, but then the game would likely become very unplayable, so chances are you're just going to have to live with the fact that the controls aren't the greatest. Unfortunately, those don't seem to be the only questionable design choices in this game. The initial game starts at a okay difficulty curve, whereas later on the levels will start to get insanely hard in a very short amount of time, and you will get very frustrated with constant deaths, and the bosses can almost feel nigh on impossible on the first time fighting them. The time trials weirdly end up getting easier as you get further into the game, because the designers seem to be aware of how difficult they made the game in the later sections, so there's a lot more time, whereas on some of the most basic tutorials, personally on the very first tutorial in the game, I was having a harder time getting a gold time on that than on most of the levels in the game. Aaru's movements can be seen very floaty at times, which is not the greatest controls for a platformer, and there is a lot of instant death sections, which on a game like Rayman Legends seemed like a fair challenge, where in this game it feels like the developers have gone out of their way to try to kill you. The bosses in this game get unbelievably chaotic, as you don't fight the bosses in a traditional sense, and you just have to actually avoid damage for as long as possible while trying to navigate some horrendous traps. There's a lot of things that will obscure your vision, killing you, just as you can see I was killed there. This is a very hard game to recommend for most people, as the difficulty curve is atrocious, the level of frustration is way too high, and the number of instant death traps is ridiculous. I mean, if you just saw that section I went through there, the number of things that could have killed me in one hit is just too much, and I don't think most people would have the patience with the game. I would say that in summary, Aaru's Awakening is very hard to recommend to anyone who is not a die-hard platforming fan, and even then it would have to be one who really enjoyed doing time trials and was okay with the game being so difficult at sometimes you felt like you were being cheated. So hopefully I've provided you with enough information on whether you want to play this game or not, but personally it is slightly sad to see a game with such lovely visuals being ruined by poor design choices in the gameplay department. So overall I'd say no, don't download this if you're the average gamer. If you're really eager to get some extra trophies, I guess these are doable, if not frustrating. On the other hand, there's very few merits to this game outside of the visuals, because though the story is narrated well and presented well, the actual story itself is extremely boring and predictable. It seems like one of those plot lines which has been done over and over again in so many different things. Anyway guys, I hope this review has helped, and if you want me to do more, just leave a comment and let me know. Until next time guys, bye.